In this video, we're going to be looking at the child pages of your activities section within your site. It might be titled Local Area Guide, Things to Do, Activities, Attractions. You might have multiple pages using this kind of configuration and this feature, but it'll all still be edited the same regardless of the naming convention and titles and what categories are displaying on the page. So we're going to actually be taking a look at the child pages that these different categories or thumbnails would link out to. So we'll just click on the first one and say maybe this is dining, and it's going to be a list of local restaurants that you want to share some business information about the local restaurants that you want to highlight. So on the back end of this page, it's still going to be using the activities child section in Flex Content. Typically, these child pages are going to be set to box right sidebar. And then on the page with the flexible content section, if you already have a page and you're trying to edit some of the content on those business listings that are there now, or you're trying to add some more, you would be using the activities child section, and it should be set to the layout for list view. And that's what this view here is called. It's called list view in the activities child section. Give you a place to put in your images for each one. Give it a name. This one was set up as an example, and they were just titled events, but they can also be used for events as well. You would add the title that you want to display, and then you have your details box where you can put in a description, a view more details button, and a link target that you can put in there. That would be this view more details here. Sites might be set up slightly different. This view more details is mainly purposed for if you wanted to then expand further and say, you know, this list is a list of restaurants, you can click view more details and go to another page with additional information you might want to share about that restaurant. If you just wanted to link to that restaurant's own website, there's a separate field that then places this visit website link up at the top by the phone number. And that would be the visit website link. You can just put in that business's website address there. If you are doing anything that's like an event or an activity that might have a date and time associated, there is a date picker as well. So you can choose the date and set the time if you would like to do that. And then also, if you had used the view more details link, if you wanted to open it in a new tab or keep it open in the same window, you would have the options to do that. Current will open it in the same window, and the target blank would open it in a new window. And just like the rest of the flexible content editing, if it's something that is a repeater, you would have the options to add a row, remove a row, drag and drop into a different order, and then based on how many items you have on the page, once you get to the end of that list, there would be an add row button where you can add in another one. And then remove if you need to. Click on the number to drag and drop order as you need to. And that should pretty much be all you really need. There is a setting up towards the top. I'll scroll back up to for list view items. So let's say, you know, I have 5 showing here, but I've added 10. And for kind of just page load speed purposes, I just want to show the first 5. And when the user gets to the bottom of that list, they can then load more into display. The theme will have a default image. So as you see in the settings here, some of these don't have an image set. That's going to pull a default image from the theme. Currently on my example, it's set to this canoe photo. So to override that, you would click add image. That'll take you to your media gallery where you can choose from that media gallery or upload a file from your computer. And then once you've made your changes, you'll just scroll up and click update the page. Now there's one other important thing to know, or two, I should say. To get this category page that you've created to show up as a thumbnail on kind of the main activities or main things to do thumbnail grid page, you would need to set the child page on the page attributes under parent. You would choose the drop down and give you a list of all your pages, and whatever that kind of main category grid page is called, you would find that and select that to be the parent page. And once you do that, the parent page, the way that's going to interact then is grab whatever image you have set for the page's featured image, whatever you have set for the page title, and then the link to the page, and that'll auto-populate into the grid. Now you can control the order in which the items show in the grid using the order field under page attributes as well. They will populate by default to that main category page by the order they were created. And then you can manipulate that order from there by going into the child pages and ordering them 1 through however many you have. So for this example, I have 9 on this main page. I would need to click into each one of these and edit them and set their order 1 through 9 based on where I want them to display. They'll default to 0, and 0 is always first. So if you added a new one and you had already ordered this page accordingly, if you don't change that order from 0 to another number, even though you have a page set to order 1, 0 is still going to show first. So you might then, if you wanted that to not be first, you might need to go and adjust all the order numbers across the different pages to get your order correct. But from there, should be primarily all that you really need to populate the child pages and then get them configured on the main page as you would like. There's some instances where you might be adding the featured image and it's going to apply it as this banner across the top, and maybe that wide, thin, landscaped banner image doesn't fit very well in the thumbnail, or maybe you chose an image that is going to look good for the thumbnail, but then once you put it on your child page, it doesn't look good in the banner. There's going to be some controls to manipulate that as well, and that's going to be on your different page settings tab. So what you would do is the image you want to be the banner of that child page, you set it as featured image, and then the image that you want to use for the thumbnail on the main page, you click into different page settings tab, and then down towards the bottom you'll see a section for small image for page list, and that's where you can add the image that you would want to display on the main page as the thumbnail. And if for any reason maybe you wanted this page to say best local restaurants, but then on the main page you wanted that category to show up as just restaurants or dining, something like that, then you'll have a field to put in that custom title, and then that title and that image is actually what would get passed to the thumbnail on the main page. And then also another thing that you might be wanting to do is not use the list view section, but you still want to use this grid and have additional child pages. I'll click and see if one of them are already set up. No, not really, but I can go in and edit this. You don't have to use the activities child section on those child pages that show up on the grid. Any page will show up on that grid if you have set its parent page, if you have set that child's page parent page to be the same as this main grid page. So I can have just another kind of standard page where I would use maybe just the default WordPress visual and text editor to put in any content, whether it just be text, you want to add some images, other media, build out some links, use all these tools to control your content as you want. You can still use more of a standard page template, something similar to maybe a page like this that's primarily just text, instead of doing kind of like these business listings like shown on the previous example. That can still be used and still be a page that shows up in your grid, just as long as you have set that child's page parent page to be this main page that houses this grid feature here. Let us know if you have any questions.